Hello everybody, welcome to Archon Soul. Figured it'd be a fun idea to give this game a go, give everyone an opportunity to watch the developer play, so we'll just hop right into it here. First up is Punch Wizard, one of my favorite enemies conceptually. Not because he's like particularly strong or interesting or anything, but mostly because he's just kind of a silly idea. Alright, he's dealing quite a bit of damage here. I think we can make him weak with Frail Body, so that can either make him weak or vulnerable depending on the dice value. So if you put in a high dice value, it makes him weak, so we'll just take some of his punch power away. And we'll take the opportunity here to get set up with Gaia's Protection. Free barrier every turn is pretty strong. Although truly, Punch Wizard is dead this turn, so it didn't really matter. Alright, so this is the first important bit. I like to sort of go back and forth between my dice runes and my spells for the first couple combats, because it sort of lets you pre-synergize stuff. For example, I see like, okay, Deep Roots, I have a countdown here, and I also have a time rune, so that could like potentially lead me in that direction, starting off with that synergy. And Deep Roots is pretty strong. It's a consume synergy spell, gain 3 might and fortitude whenever a spell's consumed. But attack output is pretty important in the first act, so I'm going to take Grounded Fist actually. Is sort of a hybrid offensive and defensive spell, and Spirit's a really good rune to go with it. I pretty much take these every single time. Frail is pretty rough, but considering it's only the first area, it's pretty easy to tank like a hit or two. Speaking of tanking a hit or two, we're going to go for the Elite Combat here, and it's Hex Beast. Because of Grounded Fist, having a rune on a high DV spell is going to be a lot more beneficial. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Spirit on 6 here, and we're going to turn this 4 into a 6 as well. On Gaiamancer, as many of our players have already deduced, 4 is not the strongest number. Okay, we're definitely for Hexbreaker, or for Hex Beast, going to get Gaia's Protection going, and we're going to get Undergrowth going too. We'll take a hit here, but because Hex Beast curses your dice, as we can see right here, having extra dice is very good. Okay, we're gonna do Grounded Fist here, get a little bit more grounded, a little damage, and then we're gonna get another dice. Those are two not too bad dice to have cursed, to be honest. So we're gonna do another Grounded Fist here. Here I'm gonna go ahead and activate Hexbreaker. Just get some ethereal dice, make sure we can block this damage. Easy. And then we're just gonna punch again. Okay, now we're pretty well set up. We've got 5 dice for the rest of the fight. Some high DV rolls here to deal some damage. And no reason to take damage we don't need to. And I'm fairly certain that's the end of this fellow. Alright. Elite Combat 1. Let's see what we got. Pure Water's pretty good. Connect with Gaia is pretty good too. We already have like a pretty high damage output spell with Grounded Fist. So we don't need Connect with Gaia per se. having access to the Sandstorm this soon is pretty good, and Pure Water is also quite a good block spell. I find that newer players tend to undervalue block, but block is pretty dang important. Another thing I find that newer players often undervalue is Erratic Body. It's just 6 free runes and high dice values if that's something you're into. Take some random dice faces. And then, I think we're gonna get Sandstorm going here. Sandstorm's pretty good against Replicator. So we're just gonna have access to that real quick. Let's see. Runes are very good. And because runes are quite good, heavy's actually not too bad. If you have a... Oh, actually, speaking of runes being quite good, we're just going to take Plate Slip here, and we're going to take heavy. And that is going to give us access to a pretty good amount of damage output. We're also going to take the reserve spell slot, just to give us a little bit more spell storage space, because we can't afford a regular spell slot. Because I admittedly got a tiny bit greedy with Plate Slip. We're also going to go ahead and replace this Frail Body. We're going to lose 7 max HP here, but that's not that bad. We got 20 out of the event, so we're still net positive on that. And we're going to go ahead and put Heavy on a 6 here and Fortitude on a 2. We're putting it on a 2 instead of a 1 because 1s are better for Gaia's Protection, so we're more likely to use a 1 if we roll it for Gaia's Protection over a spell. Whereas 2, we're likely to use this on block, so this is just going to be like a slight upside to the bonus there. Dice values don't really matter for right now, so let's go. Make sure our spells are properly equipped. Yep, alright. This is Punch Warlock. He's like the Punch Wizard, but stronger in pretty much every way. I think what we're going to do here... A Vampire... See, this is the power of Erratic Body, right? Is it gives you stuff like Vampire that is, like, typically a one-time use thing. So you can just heal off Erratic Bodies, and because every time it's rolled, the faces get randomized, you just get a new set of 6 runes every turn. So, what we're going to do is we're going to Undergrowth to get a new dice going, and we're going to Plate Slip the Warlock. Alright. Another reason the Erratic Body is good is because you have a higher likelihood of getting high dice values. So, with something like Undergrowth that thrives in a dice value environment of 7 or greater, Erratic Body is quite good for that because it's just 1 dice for 1 dice. Actually, we're going to start the Sandstorm. Get that lowered there. Arrogance is quite good to start activating against Punch Warlock, because it deals damage and gives him weak for 5 turns. And no reason to take damage here when we have the Sandstorm going. Okay, so Plate Slip, Grounded Fist, that's over. Permanent Fortitude is pretty much always good, so we're going to take that. And I don't really have a build decided on quite yet, so there's still outs to want an indestructible dice. I'll take the Void Steel Body here, and then we'll take 2 random runes, quantity over quality at this moment, since we don't have a specific build in mind. Shop, just for this extra spell slot. Don't really need to look at the rest of this. The spell slot's pretty important. At least having like a 6th spell slot is quite a huge upside. We're gonna get 5 runes because this is locked in the demo. And on to the first boss. This is a Replicator. We're gonna leave this here for now. since we don't necessarily have something we want to use for it, and we don't have anything that benefits from having a dice body yet. We don't have anything that benefits from time specifically right now, however, because we are fighting Replicator, they have a countdown in their unit ability, so there is actually some upside to having time on a dice. Right now, we're going to replace this 4 with a 6, put time on it. And if you use time in a unit ability that has a countdown, it actually reduces countdowns on your spells too. So that's a fun little pro tip. We'll go ahead and shell and sturdy on these two. Probably put sharp on this one. The reason I'm not putting so many runes on this dice here is because heavy makes them a little bit less impactful, because they're less likely to be rolled outside of these two faces. I think I'll save. I'd rather save force, actually. Alright, well, let's go. So, yeah, there we go, already rewarded. Actually, that's a lie, this is the erratic body. So we weren't necessarily rewarded for that, but we'll take it. We take those anyway. I'm just going to tank this first hit. Actually, am I? No, I'm not. I'm going to punch him real quick, hit a barrier, take a single damage, and there we go. Now we're rewarded. Oh, hold on though. Okay, so what we're going to do, we rolled a Blessed here, so spells using this room don't use Consume. Undergrowth has Consume here, so we're actually going to pop that right in there. That we don't lose a Consume, we can use this 2 more times still. And then we're going to pop Stun, get that going, start the Sandstorm, hit him a couple times, and at this point, the fight's kind of already over. I'm just going to tank this hit, and we're going to punch him. And just like that, fight's over. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let him replicate. His name's the Replicator. Spoiler alert, he copies himself. A nice little trick in this fight is just hit him hard and a lot. Because the lower HP he has when he splits, the lower HP the copies will have and the easier the rest of the fight will be. If you let them stay at too high an HP total, the fight can get well out of control. And I'm just going to let him die to the Sandstorm. Get a new dice, and... Alright, I guess this is a Rising Stampede run. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a Rising Stampede run. Because we just got Rising Stampede, which we're gonna take, pretty handily here. We're gonna take the Sinew Body, which gains Might and Fortitude. And then we're gonna take the Might Rune because that's just silly. So we're gonna be looking to maximize one particular dice to be quite strong with Rising Stampede. And pop Rising Stampede over on this side. I think we'll take Dune Drop out for this fight. Put Grains of Paradise in just to get a permanent Fortitude off the bat. Yeah. That seems good to me. Let's put the Sinew Body on our brand new dice here. We sort of have a point for these two. These sort of do things outside of activating unit abilities. So, this is the dice we're most likely to put a unit ability in here. And then I think we're going to swap this one out for a 4. And we're gonna get a Might Rune going on this. And then I think we're solidly off Time Rune here. We're gonna go ahead and swap that out for a Force. These 3 runes just work so good with Rising Stampede that it's kind of silly not to have them. And let's go. The Bladed Dancer is an enemy that has Blade Dance, so they gain 1 might at the end of the turn, at the end of their turn. Which means... oh, actually, yeah, this is kind of sick. Let's activate Grains of Paradise right off the bat. We don't get this Fortitude during this combat. A permanent Fortitude starts the combat with Fortitude, so we don't necessarily need that one right there. We're going to trip up, make them a little bit weak, and then I think we're going to... I think I want to try and get rid of this Bladed Dancer as soon as possible. And ideally, I'd like to kill the Bladed Dancer with Rising Stampede. It's 14 damage. Plus 10. Leaves them with 2 HP. I don't have a Sandstorm. Oh, hold on, though. I think we're going to backfire Hex the Hextress so that we don't have as much to worry about. We're going to Barrier and then Plate Slip here. Alright. Okay, this is actually excellent here. So we have the Sharp Rune here, which is going to allow our Rising Stampede to deal 8 damage. So, let's see, 17 plus 8. That's not quite Bladed Dancer dead, but what we can do is Plate Slip. Okay. 11 does not kill the Bladed Dancer. And then we're going to leave them with 1 HP, kill them with Rising Stampede. And that's our Stampede upgraded for the combat. And now we can just kill Hextress at our leisure. Oh, I should have used the Immortal Rune. You win some, you lose some. Ooh, It Gets Everywhere is quite good. We're in the market for a good block, a good way to block, and It Gets Everywhere does that for sure. Not only does it gain 5 barrier, but it also potentially gives enemies weak, as long as they take damage from the Sandstorm. Which is going to be quite good here. Weak plus barriers is a pretty strong combination, and we're going to take Grounded and a high value dice. That one's pretty scary. So, with these events, they will target a little bit of a developer knowledge pro tip here. They target non-bodied dice first. These cursed body events will always target a modified dice body first. So that means if we do this event, one of these 2 dice is going to start off cursed, which is a bummer. And we do have a dice body in reserve. I mean, 200 free gold, let's go. I mean, who needs 7 max HP? And I'm no coward, so I'm going to take the elite fight. This was the one I was hoping to not see. We're gonna just go ahead and override this. This is maybe one of the biggest drawback dice. Because the dice starting off cursed is pretty rough. Just like 1 less dice on turn 1 is a bit of a rough one. So yeah, we're gonna just override that real quick. This one here, we want to start moving towards having this BR Rising Stampede dice, but I think for right now, we'll take having a 2 and a 3 on it, just for block potential, and we're going to put Grounded on that. And we're going to put Infliction on a 4 or higher so that it can inflict extra buffeted, potentially. Do I have another Sandstorm? I have Dune Drop. The Sandstorm is going to be pretty useful in this fight because there's multiple enemies, so I'm definitely going to want that. Alright, let's go. The Master of the Armory is maybe one of my favorite designs in the game as far as enemies. They have different masteries of their weapons, which gives them different effects as long as that weapon is still alive, which is kind of fun. So, with the shield, they can't take damage while the shield's alive. With the hammer, they deal double damage while it's alive. While the Mancatcher is alive, they can't receive debuffs. Less of a downside for Gaiamancer, but definitely a downside for some of the other characters. And then Mace Mastery, while the mace is alive, you can't activate their unit ability Shatter, which is quite a good one because it kills another random enemy just for free. So what I think we're gonna do is try and kill Mace right off the bat here. But how do we do that? I think the way is, because this is going to deal, that's only going to deal 6 damage. But, okay, so if I rust here, we're just going to tick those down as well. Okay. The rust deals 10 damage and inflicts weak, so that's going to bring us right in line to Rising Stampede them, and it's going to upgrade it as well. Great. And then I think we're just going to Shatter, kill the shield. Excellent. Oh, that should have a sound effect. I'll fix that later. Okay. And I think now that we've upgraded Rising Stampede for the combat, we can just use it. And that's going to be pretty good. So we're going to use this dice with the Might rune on it. Because Might gains a Might for every time that spell deals unblocked damage, it's quite strong in spells with repeat. So we're going to kill the Mancatcher here with it. Oh, I guess we're not going to kill the Mancatcher with it. Okay, we're going to kill the Mancatcher with Sandstorm. And we're going to take a lot of damage. Unless... okay, that's fine. Yeah, we're going to take a lot of damage here. Ouch. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and Grounded Fist here. Actually, nah, it's buffeted time here. We're going to gain Barrier, inflict some weak. Rising Stampede the Master. And I think we're just going to Barrier with the other two here. Oh yeah, it's over. Yeah, this was a bad fight. We took quite a bit of damage, but I think we're just strong enough that it doesn't matter at this point. We're more interested in upgrading the Rising Stampede. Okay, yeah, just Barrier. Alright, and we're just going to let the Sandstorm kill them. Okay. We don't need a second It Gets Everywhere. The spell's good enough that even though it has charge, it's like decent enough that we only really need to use it twice per turn in conjunction with the regular block. We're going to take that 9, just because I like big numbers, and Chance is quite strong, actually. So Chance is maybe secretly one of the, and maybe not so secretly, one of the stronger runes, because it makes your other good runes really good. So we're going to take that. We're going to take a Kinetic Body for now, because that makes our Rising Stampede quite good. And I'm going to take Seek Shelter sort of tentatively. We don't have the support to make it good right now, but having it in our reserve spells let us take drop runes and gravity bodies more aggressively to just make sure that we're blocking better than we are right now, because right now our block is pretty bad. We're going to hit a shop because we have a lot of gold. We are money rich. And we can see Seek Shelter showing up. Oh, actually, okay, so here's the thing. Stonewall, we have a dice with a Void Steel body. So that's basically 25 free block a turn, and I think we're just going to take that. That's our block plan. And do we want a new dice or a spell slot? I think with our build, a new dice is going to do more for us right now. So we're going to do that. And I'm not a coward, so I'll fight another elite. We're actually in a really good spot to start taking over here. And we're going to try and make all of the faces on this one even. That way we can pretty consistently use this for our stone wall. This one we're going to put the repeat body on. And we are going to, I think at this point we can start to get rid of these. We do not need that anymore, and we're going to chance rune the Might face. Because this is the most powerful with Rising Stampede. Especially on a repeat body. And then this one can just stay plain, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we'll replace a 2 with a 5. That way it activates, it gets everywhere a little bit better. And then, yeah, I think we're good to go here. And as you can see, we have that fortitude from the permanent fortitude here, so that makes our block spells pretty dang good to start off with here. The downside of Rising Stampede is we want to use it to upgrade, or we want to upgrade it, but that means we can't use it until we absolutely need it. The sort of like balancing point is like, okay, when is it good enough that I can just start using it for regular damage consistently once a turn? And I think that point is not right now. So I think I'm just going to punch this guy quite a bit. We're going to get Dice Protection going. We're going to Stonewall with our Void Steel dice. And then we're just gonna do a little punching. Get the Sandstorm started. Gonna maximize damage. Okay, right now 6 times 4, 24. That's still not good enough. Gonna Stonewall here. Plate Slip. It gets everywhere. Give him a little bit of weakness. This doesn't really have a 21 or 18. Yeah, it's still better to just do it like this, I think. Yeah. Okay. 3. Actually, 8 by 3 is quite good here. 24. Yeah, they're dead. Alright, cool. GG's. I'd like to say it was a challenge, but it was not. Okay, here we go. Well, okay, so because we have Stonewall, we don't really need the Gravity Body for Seek Shelter. I think I'm still going to take it. We're on floor 13, so we don't have any more regular combats this floor. So Vitality Body, it's like kind of silly to try to use it in a boss fight. So yeah, we're going to take the Gravity Body here. We're going to take a Sharp Rune, because that's pretty silly with Rising Stampede. And we're going to take a 6, because that lets us use Rising Stampede. We really don't need any of these. Plate Slip and Rush of Thorns are quite good together, but I think we have enough runes that we don't really need that synergy right now. We don't have the extra spell slot for it, so we're just going to skip. I am going to rest. Maybe a little bit cowardly, but Demon of Misfortune is no joke. Okay, that's quite good. So, we're gonna go ahead and... I'm gonna take Grounded Fist out here and put it Seek Shelter in because Demon of Misfortune gives you those sort of demon cursed dice that lowers your fortitudes and mights and all that other stuff. So having access to something like Seek Shelter that has a high base number is much better than something that has like a lower one, like it gets everywhere. I think actually I might Grounded Fist over It Gets Everywhere for that reason, even though the weak is quite good. I think we're pretty well set up for this combat, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this dice, we're just going to give it a bunch of stuff for free. Erratic Body is insane. And I think there's still an odd. So we're just going to make sure that this, every single turn can hit the stone wall here. And we don't need any of this, but yeah, all right, we're good. This should be not too bad. Okay, so Demon of Misfortune is impenetrable turn 1, and they're charging their Cursed Dice move, so we just have a build-up turn to try and get going. And that means, right off the bat, I think it's Undergrowth time. Just getting a new dice. We're going to use this in Gaia's Protection. Get a little bit of Grounded and a Might and Fortitude, more importantly. And then I think what we're going to try to do here is I'm going to just lower Seek Shelter so that we don't need as much to actually get that effect. And unfortunately, yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, so that you can see the status effects a little bit better on enemies if your dice are too numerous. Okay, so the downside of these all having ones is that we cannot use them in Stonewall, which means we're not just going to be able to cheese this fight by getting rid of the dice for a benefit. We are going to have to use the Demon Steel to do that. We're going to Seek Shelter with this Time Rune. Get Undergrowth going a little bit now, and we're just going to pop that immediately. And then we have to decide, we have to make a decision here. Which of these dice is the worst for my game plan right now? I think it's going to be the Might, the Demonic Ruby Body that gets rid of our Might, because we chose Seek Shelter and we have Stonewall. These are high base level barrier spells. Our Fortitude's less important, and we have a couple to start off with, and then because we block very well, Thorn Body's going to not be too intrusive. So I think we just get rid of the Might dice so that Rising Stampede still does anything. And then do a little blocking. And then I think we don't have very good uses for these, but it's better than nothing. And then we're gonna just hit this guy a few times. Okay. We'll just start off getting a Might here. Obviously, gotta block, and then we gotta block again. So let's do it this way. Not optimal, but better than nothing. That's a little rough. We kind of want to use this might for, actually, hold on. If we attack the demon while he has barrier, the might rune doesn't trigger. So let's keep our might rune by doing that. And then I definitely want to seek shelter here. There we go. The combat's going pretty well so far. Yep, that's going to be nice to let us just do this right away. Same thing here. We're not going to deal any damage doing this, so we get to preserve our might rune. And then let's deal a little damage here. Get a little block going here. Okay, I think we're at a point where he didn't block this turn, so I think we're going to try and kill. This is going to be 25 damage. So we're going to hit him until he has less than 25 HP. And then we're going to upgrade our Rising Stampede, and that's going to be the combat. Get our new dice. Alright, what do we got here? Turn to stone is interesting. If we have one particular face that we want, we can use this to lock that in at the expense of whatever dice body it's attached to. For the turn. Soul of Gaia is quite good. 3 new dice for the rest of combat's nothing to sneeze at, and you can use it twice. The downside, of course, you do need above a 7. Because we have 2 erratic bodies, that's much more attainable. And then Spellgraft is, in a word, pretty silly. I think we're gonna... Do we have enough 1s? We do not have any dice faces. Spellgraft needs a 1. We're gonna take a 1. We're gonna go for... Surprise, surprise, we're gonna go for Spellgraft. We're also gonna take Heavy, so that we can hit Spellgraft more consistently. And then we'll take a Protection Body so that we can just discard that dice at the end of turn for 10 if we're not Spellgrafting with it or doing something otherwise. Right, yeah, we're looking pretty decent right now, I think. The Sacrifice is an interesting fight. It's going to be really tough with Rising Stampede. And Spellgraft is going to not be good in this fight. So here's what we're gonna do. Rising Stampede, I'm sorry, you're just not gonna be good enough here. Plate Slip is going to be our primary damage source. And I don't... Actually, Undergrowth I think is going to be fairly useful to just feed us extra stone wall. So, I guess Grounded Fist is out. I do want to have this... Actually, no, I think I don't even want to have this. There we go. We're not going to worry about... Oh, I guess we'll worry about modifying our dice. We'll get this one happening right off the bat. So this is sort of a puzzle combat, right? This enemy deals 10 damage every time it takes damage from an attack. So you have to make sure that you can balance your block and attack, and that makes stuff with repeat quite a bit worse. So you want to be able to sort of keep this fight in mind as you're building, especially on the higher difficulties, which is going to be a feature of the full game, where the Retaliate and their max HP are a little bit higher. Show No Mercy is quite strong in this combat. Lets you sort of time a vulnerable plus like 50 HP for free. We're going to hit Gaia's Protection here, and then We have 2 attacks worth, so we're going to use that. And we're going to get some grounded, and then we're going to undergrowth. Okay, what do we got here? So we have 3 attacks worth here right now. We'll plate slip. Just hit him real quick. Plate slip, hit him real quick. Plate slip, hit him real quick. I think they're just going to be dead next turn. We're going to Dune Drop to get the Sandstorm going. And just toss these 2 into Show No Mercy. Yeah, they're pretty dead this turn. So essentially, block, Show No Mercy, and I should have kept Rising Stampede. Man, that feels bad. All right, well, they're dead. All right, what do we have here? A bunch of Sandstorm stuff that we're not using. Of these are actually quite high-end Sandstorm spells. Huddle Up is actually among my favorites, because unfortunately people undervalue Barrier. Barrier is quite good. So as long as you have a second source of starting the Sandstorm, Huddle Up is pretty good for just like 30 block over the course of the combat. And 3 Sandstorm intensity for basically just free, which is pretty nice. We'll take a drop rune for Seek Shelter. High dice value for Seek Shelter. And then, yeah, we really don't need any of these, so we're just going to skip. But those are premium Sandstorm spells. We've got some Cleave the Mountain here for Sandstorm Synergy. What we're going to do is take this Void Steel Body. That's a second, and all these even faces. That's a second source of free block every turn. So that's our block pretty much situated for the rest of the game. Ooh, speaking of block. Alright, what are we doing here? I think Sinew Body is not going to be as good as the Void Steel Body here, and I'd rather this dice still be our Spellgraft one. So we're going to override that. And we're going to replace some of these odd values with even values. We're going to keep the 1 just to give us some more Spellgraft option. And I think we can just hold on to this one for later. Let's get our spell set up. So we no longer need Undergrowth. Dune Drop was only a temporary thing, so I think this is going to be our build out for now. The Orb is an enemy that really punishes builds that cannot deal damage. So essentially their damage output is equal to their barrier, and they gain a lot of barrier. So, ooh, actually this is going to be really good. We're going to Spellgraft and reroll the dice. Rising Stampede gets another repeat for the combat, which is probably one of the worst ones it could have hit. Okay, so now what are we doing? I think we are obviously going to Stonewall here. Actually, we don't even need to. We can just attack. That's silly. I want to at least make sure we're knocking that barrier away. The random damage is tough in this fight, with Orb specifically, because you kind of want to make sure you're hitting Orb. Okay. 3, repeat 6. Oh, right. 3, repeat 6, so that's 3 times 7, 21. Let's... Ooh, actually that's 5 times 6, that's 30, so that's going to be a little bit better. We're going to plate slip. Okay. We're going to plate slip again. Hope we hit the husk. 33, that's not going to be good enough. Okay, in that case, we're going to plate slip again. And we're gonna stonewall. Okay. 35 is a little spooky, but could be worse here. I think we're going to eliminate this Ogre Husk. Get that upgraded for the combat. We're gonna hit them a couple times. We're gonna block. Yeah, sure. Okay. And that's the fight. Easy peasy. Fruits of Paradise is... I mean, okay, so... we have Cobbled Armor. One of the strongest spells in the game. I need to nerf this pretty bad, but... for right now, one of the strongest block spells in the game. We don't need it. We already have our barrier situated. So I'm going to take Fruits of Paradise. I'm going to try and cheese Spellgraft to give it repeat. I actually don't know if that'll work because it permanently destroys. No, I think it'll work still. What we're going to do is we're going to pop Grounded Fist down here. Get rid of Dune Drop. We don't need it anymore. We'll take Inflection. I don't think I'm... yeah, I'm not assigning any debuffs right now, but we'll take it anyway. Oh, I should have taken the one. That was silly. We're going to take... well, I'm not on one hand, I'm not a coward, and combats are really good, so I'm going to take an Elite. But I kind of do want to take an event. I'll see if I have time to do so. You still need an even face. So now we have 2 guaranteed blockers for Stonewall, and then Spellgraft, huh? Yeah, we're just gonna leave this the way it is, and then yeah, I think I'm gonna try to cheese Spellgraft onto Fruits of Paradise to give us just a lot of extra permanent might. Also, do we have a... we do have a Spirit. So I think for this combat, I'm going to put the chance onto the Spirit. Because Permanent Might is a buff. Therefore, Spirit gives you extra Permanent Might, which is pretty silly. Little developer pro tip there. Okay. Spellgraft, please hit Fruits. It didn't. Oh, it did hit Seek Shelter, though. That's quite good. Oh, by the way, we're fighting Deathless One. They cannot lose life until you get rid of their unit ability. So let's get started on that. The good news is ones are really bad in this combat, so we can feel pretty good about... that's unfortunate. We were not able to cheese Fruits of Paradise. The stone walls are going to be pretty important here, because the Deathless One gains 10 might a turn once it starts attacking, and that gets pretty scary pretty quick. So we're going to definitely need those. Also, this is probably going to come in handy starting in a few turns here. For right now, we're just going to get a little Gaia's Protection. Okay, so now they're dealing 50 damage. Things are starting to get pretty real here, but we've almost got their countdown fully taken care of. Okay, they're dead this turn. However, I do kind of want to roll the Spirit Rune, so I'm going to be a little bit greedy here. Oh, we're going to not kill them this turn. I'm going to try and get a couple more turns of getting the... Yeah, there we go. Spirit Rune, we got it. And you see, goes from 1 permanent might to 2. Let's go. This game's so easy. Who made it? Oh, and we'll also upgrade Rising Stampede. I did a pretty major nerf on Rising Stampede, but as it turns out, still pretty good. Still pretty strong. We're going to take a Gravity Body here. We don't have a way to abuse time, really, but Force is going to be quite good with Stampede, so we're going to take it. And then we'll take another 1. Yeah, and we don't need any of these, so let's skip. I will fight pretty much every elite I come across, so let's do that. Volatile Being. This is a pretty spooky fight, actually. This might be one where I concede that I will not be upgrading Rising Stampede. This actually might be one that we can just cheese a little bit, though, because we have so much block. So we're just gonna make sure that we get another spell in here. There is benefit to not having an extra spell up here, because it gives Spellgraft a better chance of hitting one of these things that are a little bit more impactful. Actually, that's probably better. Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's see what we hit. Yeah, that's pretty much the fight then. That's pretty much the fight then. I am going to save Rising Stampede because Volatile Being is going to spawn 2 little friends, and it's possible that I can trigger Rising Stampede off of one of them. So, what we're going to do is... I don't think I need the stun count down here, because I think we're just going to block all of his final attack's damage. This enemy, essentially, turn 1, summons 2 enemies, can't take damage while they're alive, and then counts down from 5. And then their final attack, they deal like a lot of damage and kill themselves. So we're just gonna, I think, in this combat, our plan is to let them kill themselves. Honestly, pass turn. Okay, there's the Ethers. I think we're gonna try and kill this one. Oh. Okay, that's good. Okay. Less good. Okay, well, whichever one is gonna let us kill them, I think we're gonna do that. Yeah, we're gonna gain a lot of block, and we're gonna kill one of them. Whichever one it lets us kill. 5 times 8 is 40, so they are dead. And then we're just gonna let this one blow itself up, I think. Yeah. And then... Sure. Well, let's see if we can... Let's see if we can kill them. Still not going to try and stun, though. Oh no, we definitely can't kill them. Well, it's a good thing I've got all this block. We don't need this. Yeah, we don't need any of those. Truly don't really need any of these either. Actually, an aggressive might be pretty good. Hexproof might be pretty good as well. We're gonna take random though. Ooh, a chance. That's nice. Take that big number. We're gonna hit the shop, see if there's anything worthwhile picking up. Probably permanent might. Origin of Sickness might be a little bit scary here. We do have a couple indestructible dice that we can use to trigger his unit ability without the strong downside. So I think we might do that. I think I'm just going to keep it at 5 spells. As you saw, Spellcraft hitting one of those more impactful block spells makes it quite good. Spellcraft has received so many debuffs. I think I might need to do one more. Even at 2 consume, it's quite good. Yeah, I mean, just hitting Stonewall is so strong here. He can't take damage turn 1 here, so unfortunately there's not a whole lot we can do. We can tick down Seek Shelter to 1. And we're going to save Inoculate for when we're a bit lower HP. Sort of the best use for Inoculate is to sort of top up once you're about like halfway or so down. You don't want to waste it right off the bat, because it heals you for 45%. And because of the sickness, which you'll see here pretty soon that he inflicts on us, it's definitely better to save your, plan out your HP a little bit. We're just gonna punch quite a bit here. He's not attacking us, so I think we can just pass. I'll probably need to use Rising Stampede for damage this combat, actually, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna give up on upgrading it here. This is that sort of inflection point where it's like, I can't really afford to just sit around and upgrade this, so it's gonna be repeat 7 for pretty much the rest of the game. Yeah, and as you can see, now we have the Sickness, which is whenever a dice is rolled, we lose 2 HP. So it bypasses block, sort of a mechanic that says, hey, you need to close this fight out. That's a lot of barrier. Okay, so we're gonna punch. And yeah, we're good here. We're gonna get a little bit more damage taken here. I think we can actually afford to take one more turn of sickness before we inoculate. 8 times 9, 72 versus 5. Yeah, it's not even close. I mean, it's just insane. Stonewall with 2 Spellcraft triggers. That's pretty silly. We're just gonna let the Seek Shelter sit on 1 for a little while. What'd I do? Ah, okay, perfect. Yeah, the Aid rune. So when you roll Aid, this is a rare rune, that when you roll it, you remove all debuffs. So we no longer have the Sickness. Which it was already kind of game over, but now it's like truly game over. We're going to Rising Stampede with a Might rune here. This is going to get us obscene amounts of Might. And I'm pretty sure they are just dead. Yep. Yeah, that last turn did not go well for the Origin of Sickness at all. Yeah, I mean, it's not good at this point in the game, but it is fun every time I see it. Steel Fist is going to be ridiculous here because we just gain so much barrier. So we're going to pop that in instead of Plate Slip. We just no longer need it. And that's another much more impactful target for Spellcraft. We will put it over Grounding Fist, though. And I think we're in the market for a Sinew Body again. We value a Sharp, I think, more than a Vampire, just because we're so close to the end, and we're not really struggling with HP at all. Alright, and here we are in the final act. Let's see. We can't activate this one, so let's get a random rare spell. Soul of Gaia. Put it in the trash, we don't need it. I mean, that's just silly, right? Yeah. Take another one. Okay, so this is the final boss, the Avatar of the Soul. They are a pretty strong enemy here. Even as strong a build as we are, well, actually, we're kind of OP here. We're actually very OP here, so the Avatar should not be a challenge. However, even with very strong builds, this enemy can put up a pretty good fight. You're just going to discard to deal 10, and you are going to give me an extra might and fortitude. Okay, we have a might here. We don't need this anymore. I think the might is going to be our strongest one here still. And then realistically, okay, so Rising Stampede, we're at 4 permanent might, so that's 7 base damage, which means Sharp does more than Force if we don't gain extra might. But we are going to gain extra might, so Force is actually quite a bit better than Sharp here. Which means we're just going to leave that as it is. And I don't think... Yeah, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to chance, and we're going to drop here. The Avatar of the Soul has a unit ability that has a countdown 20, so this is just going to let us pop that right in there, get our might and fortitude, and be on our way. And we're set. Let's mess him up. Oh, we didn't get a 1 for Spellgraft. That's really sad, but we did get this. So we're just going to do that right off the bat. Alright, so here's what the Avatar of the Soul does. It's sort of time eatery in a way, where it has the ends the turn after 15, but it also has the sort of heart mechanic. Really laying bare my Slay the Spire inspirations for everybody to see. It has the heart mechanic where you take a damage every time you cast a spell, but every time you trigger Burden, Exertion Curse gets worse. So it's sort of like a cool interplay between the two. They can't take damage turn 1 either. Sort of meant to give us some time to set up. We don't really need it. I think we're just gonna prove worth. Set this to 0. Oh, that's bad. He got both of our indestructible dice. And we didn't get a 1. Man. This is for the birds. Alright, so we're just gonna throw this dice away here. We don't really have much of a choice. And then we're going to punch this guy a lot, gain a lot of might, and that's pretty much game over here. We don't have enough barrier to trigger Steel Fist, so we're just going to discard this dice to deal 10 damage. I guess we'll count that down, and we're just going to take a little bit here. We've done a good job at managing our spell casting here. We finally got a 1. Alright, I guess Seek Shelter is the new meta. And we got a repeat rune on this Erratic Body. See, this is why Erratic Body is so good. And it's fun because you sort of get to, on the fly, decide like what you want to do tactically. Which is pretty nice. That was a pretty fun combo there. So because we use that Fortitude rune, and because Seek Shelter has repeat now from Spellgraft, and has an extra repeat from the repeat rune, we actually gained an extra 3 Fortitude. Sort of fun little interaction. We're gonna hit this guy a lot. And then we're gonna hit this guy a couple more times. Yeah, the fight is over now. I cannot see them living. Let's spellgraft again. We gave this spellgraft repeat, so now this is going to give something repeat twice when we cast it next. We're not taking damage this turn, so I think what we're going to do is we're just going to pop a couple big numbers into here, get this one ready to go for next turn, and then we're going to hit him with Rising Stampede and a couple of... Oh, we're not going to hit him with a couple of Steel Fists because we don't have the barrier. Yeah, we'll just pass. We do have to keep in mind we only have 5 spells before Burden triggers. I think we're going to want to trigger that this turn. So what we'll do, Spellgraft here. Alright. Seek Shelter truly is the new meta. We're going to Spellgraft again. Alright, Rising Stampede really dealing a lot of damage now. Are we killing with this Rising Stampede? That's 168 damage? Yeah, we are. Alright, and that's the game. And so we're gonna get our ending cutscene here. Of course, because this is the demo, we don't have access to the true ending, so this is the only ending available so far. Watch out for the full version release, obviously. That announcement will hopefully be happening pretty soon. And of course, don't forget to wishlist the game. If you enjoyed this, please go check out the demo. It's on Steam right now for Next Fest. And if you enjoy the demo, or you just like what you saw here to begin with, feel free to give it a wishlist. It really helps me out a lot. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.